season. But we lost a long snapper. So one of our kids that step in and do that for us. Like I mentioned earlier, Dante Harris had a big game because he didn't come off the field for us defensively, and that's huge. You know, when you get those big guys down there and you got to get those big stops that you're talking about fourth down, I mean, it's just effort. It's just effort. And I know at times, you know, they're tired, but I keep telling them, you know, guys, you got to keep going. One more play, get us off the field, get the offense back on the field.
How much would hosting a playoff game mean to you and the rest of the seniors on the team? So coming around,
it'd just be another great memory to have. Just being able to host a playoff game. I don't even know when the last time Virginia High hosted a playoff game.
Yeah, we've tried to find that, and we have not been able to figure out when the last time Virginia High hosted a playoff game. So
it's definitely been a while. So it'd be awesome to just bring that back.
Yeah, the city of Bristol needs it.
So I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but my personal opinion is you had your best offensive game last week. 3 catches, 2 touchdowns, 1 from 38, 1 from 66. Take us through those 2 plays, and those 2 plays really ended up being the difference and really the only scoring plays for this offense.
Oh, yeah. Well, that first play was that 38-yard over the shoulder, and that's all credit to Jamie. I know Coach A. McGee, he was looking for the go route all night, and so I released off of it, looked up. Jamie has trust in me. I have trust in Jamie, and he put it right on the money, and then next thing we knew, we had 6 points.
And he did drop a dime there, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So let's go to that 66-yard play that happened just a few minutes later. It was like 5 or 6 game minutes later in the ball game. Just a little post route, it looked like.
Yeah. Whenever we actually played 7-on-7, the post route was our go-to. Whenever we played Gate City up at Emory, we had multiple touchdowns, multiple yards off the post, and so that was kind of something new that we ran to something that worked. That was really good. And that was actually on Huddle. That was me and Jamie. That was the 5th longest touchdown that Friday in all of Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah,
gosh.
tagged me and Jamie on Huddle.
He needs to be a color commentator here with us. He's finding out plenty of stuff.
Virginia High School Bearcat football will be on the air in 10 minutes. Listen to Virginia High School football on your computer or mobile device at Spreaker.com/Bearcat Radio. Bearcat Radio is brought to you by State Line Motors. Visit State Line Motors on Euclid Avenue in Bristol.
Welcome back to the halftime report here from Richlands High School. 3-0. Cats trailing the Blue Tornado early in this one. We'll have the stats out there for you in just a second, and we'll go to the scoreboard here in just a minute as well later on in the show. So we welcome you into the booth. It's all in all a well-played first half defensively, but the offense is yet to be seen. We've seen spurts of offense, but not enough to reach either team into the end zone.
Yeah, and honestly the biggest issue with that has been the penalties that both teams have shot themselves in the foot with throughout the course of the game. Clean those up, you might have a lot more points on the board than that.
Yeah, neither team able to cross the plane of the end zone as it's 3-0. Only a 43-yard field goal the difference so far from Forest for Richlands, and Richlands trying to make it into the playoffs, so they're scrapping hard here tonight, trying to claw their way in.
Yeah, and you hear everybody over here crunching the numbers and keeping up with the games around the 2D district, just hoping and praying with their fingers crossed. They got to take care of business here tonight. I don't know. I mean, you might feel comfortable with a 3-0 lead, but I feel more comfortable being down 3-0 than this Virginia High team.
Yeah, Virginia High's offense, you've got to imagine, is going to come alive at some point. We've seen right there before half able to get a big third down conversion. Lathrop get a little bit of confidence, maybe get rolling here, and we had the pass down the field there to Carroll, just batted away.
Yeah, and you had
the secondary playing really well from Richlands. They're really young too.
Yeah, and you had a couple big plays that could have been made there at the end of the quarter, end of the half actually. That shoulda, coulda, woulda, but they weren't. And you have to look forward to that coming out. I think Lathrop's starting to get his feet underneath him to sling the ball around a little bit.
You heard during the pregame show about Coach Chris saying that you're just a play off, just a block off, just a lane off of getting a big play out of the offense, and it seems like that's been the theme in that first half. Line actually holding up decently, but the running back's not able to get their shoulders square to the field and not been able to get things going forward. Go ahead and take you to the stat line here for the first half of football. Virginia High 3 for 7 on third down. Had the ball for 10 minutes, 5 seconds, 51 total yards of offense. Key players for the Cats, Jamie Lathrop just 2 for 9, passing for 39 yards, 4 carries for him for 18 yards. Richlands 2 for 9 on third down. Neither team has went for it on fourth. They own the time of possession advantage, 13 minutes, 55 seconds, and they've tallied just 81 yards of offense. So neither team doing a whole lot, only around 120-some yards of offense in this one so far.
You know, we talked about the offense not producing, but I didn't think it was that bad.
Yeah, neither team doing a lot over here in Coal Country tonight, so maybe that'll change in the second half. Seth Johnson really – the change of pace back, came in there around the third or fourth possession for Richlands, ran over a couple guys, and felt like that got the momentum going, and he's broke loose. 7 carries for 42 yards. That's still not amazing, but that's still good numbers on just 7 touches.
6 yards a carry. If you carry it twice, you're across the first down marker. He's done a great job. He reminds me a lot of Kelby Ford did last week, just being able to lower his head and be able to come up with some big runs.
A little bit wider, shoulders a little bit thicker than Ford.
Don't give him any bulletin board material, Dylan.
Definitely a good running back, Seth Johnson. And we've seen Race Moore, the quarterback, number 6, come into the ball game. 4 for 7, passing for 68 yards. So he came in and really changed things for this Richlands offense. Weren't really doing a whole lot, kind of spinning their wheels in that first quarter of action before they went with the change. Of course, they had Trey Brown in there to start.
Yeah, wow. I mean, I don't even know what to say about the quarterbacks. It just seems so different from point A to point B. Once the other quarterback came in and was able just to – it seemed like he opened up the field a lot more, had a lot more opportunity on the outside, opened up the lanes with his legs, and just gave the Richlands offense a lot better, like bigger spark. As you can see, I mean, Richlands wasn't able to throw the ball very much. I mean, if they weren't throwing less than 3 yards, it didn't seem like it had a chance at all. But they're doing a lot of what reminds you of just being able to open up the lanes and have some options with your feet.
They've been able to get to the outside several times on runs that were meant to go between the tackles. They've been able to break them off off the corner.
Just great vision, and that's the part of running the 3-4 instead of the 4-3 is you have that coverage option, but then you also lose sight of all the gaps and all the holes, and your big bodies aren't taking up as many spots by the offensive linemen.
So some of the trends there in that first half, defense, first half of that football
that's
game.
That's about the only trend there was.
It's about all.
Well,
yeah,
and some good punts by both teams.
Yeah, everything else really kind of washes out. Not a whole lot going on either side. And saw the last couple of drives. For Richlands, really, they were able to get the wheels turning. You know, of course, they just run out the clock down here at the end of the quarter. But, you know, they got down here and kicked the field goal, missed the field goal, and they were down there in position. They had the ball down, and they would have had it inside the 10 had there not been the penalty. That might be the play of the first half so far.
I mean, absolutely. But if you think about it, I mean, you know, you got a heck of a football game with both teams. Big themes of the game is how great they've been punting the football.
Just another knockdown drag out here late in the season, and some adjustments, Mark. What's Coach Chris talking about in that locker room down on the left side of the field?
You know, you mentioned defense. I think he's preaching offense. I think, like we mentioned, I think Jamie did a good job getting his feet underneath him there, settling down. Being away from the jeans a little harder to play at, especially here in this kind of atmosphere. But I think they're going to start catching some wind of what they need to do and open up some big plays on this side of the ball.
Weather holding up so far, no rain. Yeah, so everything's holding up in that aspect, and it's been a good afternoon for football. Again, it was raining early in the evening, but settled back down, and it's a great place to play over here. Nice stadium, really nice turf field too.
Yeah, I mean, you can't find this at all high schools. I mean, I'm used to the 5A Tennessee side of things, so I've seen a lot of turf in my days.
But not over here in the middle of
not in the middle of coal country, in the middle of a hill. I was talking to you earlier. It reminded me of Morehead State, just being on the side of a mountain, not much around you, and just always just finding a school here.
I'll tell you, it'd be interesting. I wish Brady would have looked up this stat for us. How many more plays Richlands ran than us on offense? I know last week Marion ran 18 more plays than the Virginia High offense. It's 69 to 51. It seemed like more than that. But
yeah, it definitely feels like that tonight too. The methodical side of this Richlands offense is just hand the ball off, pick up a first down, and then 3 more of the same. And that's very frustrating on the defensive side of the ball.
And with that, let's go ahead and move to the Southwest District scoreboard. We'll also look at some of the scores around Southwest Virginia. Let's start off in the district. Over on the other side of the mountain, Graham up 20-7 on Marion at half. The other game in the district, Tazewell leading Lebanon 28-0 in the second quarter. Some scores around Southwest Virginia. Abingdon leading Lehigh 7-0 in the second quarter. Union up 33-8 on John Battle in the second quarter. And then our other game, playoff time in Tennessee, and Tennessee High not faring very well this afternoon as South Doyle beat them in that first round playoff game at the Stone Castle 31-7 with close to a minute and a half to go until halftime. So the Vikings having trouble there.
Yeah. So some just going back and looking through their Twitter page, it looks like South Doyle's put up some big plays. A blocked punt in the end zone. South Doyle recovers for a touchdown. Another field goal just 4 minutes later, and then 8 minutes later, Cherokee score again.
So all these high-scoring games, and look at us over here, 3-0. Richlands leading the Cats.
Well, like a bad Thursday night football game, Dylan.
You never know what we're going to get. Hey, this is a good football game. I think this is a game I'd like to be at tonight. It's refreshing seeing the high school teams play defense, and you don't see it a whole lot around here.
No, especially with two offenses the way they're built like this. A lot of big playability on both sides of the ball, but nobody wants to give that inch to let it happen.
Just close to 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go here until the end of halftime. Let's just go through a couple of games in the college football realm. I know you'll want to. We'll just go through. We might pick 4 or 5 here to go through. We don't have a whole lot of time on our side, so we'll go through a few if I can get enough signal to. That's always an issue, too.
Welcome to cold country, Dylan.
Yeah, you never know. I'll just name off a few. Alabama, LSU, and Tuscaloosa.
Alabama.
Okay, that's a good one. What other ones we got? We got Penn State, Michigan State, or Ohio State, Michigan State. I'm lost again. That didn't take me long.
Well, I'll tell you this.
Oklahoma State and Oklahoma, Bedlam.
Oh, the Bedlam. Give me Baker. I think Baker's too good.
Penn State at Michigan State, 12 o'clock kick. That's a good game.
I don't think Penn State likes that early kickoff. I'm going to go with Michigan State.
Michigan State seems like they could win that ball game. And there's a lot of good games later in the afternoon.
I'm going to go ahead and say this. I'm picking against Tennessee, but just for the simple fact that we lose every time that I pick them, not because I doubt my Vols. I'm doing it for good juju.
Number 13, Virginia Tech at number 10, Miami, 8 o'clock kick. That'll be a good game. That's probably one of the best ones this weekend.
I think Fuente will get it done.
Virginia Tech getting their win on the road. Miami's just a 1-point favorite. I'm going to take Virginia Tech, too, I think.
I don't know. Miami just hasn't impressed me much this year, especially after last week at Chapel Hill.
Right, and the last one we'll pick, number 22, Arizona at number 17, USC. You'll probably be in bed for this one. 10:45 kickoff.
Yeah, you can go ahead and mark me down as asleep. But I'll take Arizona. Sam Darnold, he's lacked in the knowledge department. You've heard me rave about him all year long, but I think I'm going to go ahead and go against him this week.
Arizona's quarterback, Khalil Tate, has rushed for over 840 yards in the month of October.
Yeah, that sounds like a Georgia Tech-style offense.
8 touchdowns. Well, no, it's a spread. He just runs.
I know, but it just sounds
like
like
Vince Young. So I'm going to take Arizona, too. I was a big Vince Young fan, too, by the way. So these two teams finish up their warm-ups. It's about 42 seconds to go. And you know what? We'll just continue our greatest halftime show in Southwest Virginia. We'll just stay right here with. That's a good thing about us. We're internet. We don't have to worry about worrying about getting commercials in.
Yeah.
State Line Motors kickoff, and that's about all.
State Line Motors, right across from the state line.
Yep, that's all we got to worry about. So they're our sponsor, of course, for kickoffs, and we're about to have one here in just a few minutes. 3-0. Cats trailing Richlands on the road. Last game of the regular season. A half of football to decide a postseason. And a season for Richlands. If they can hold out, the season will likely continue. It just depends on what's going on between Galax and Grayson. So
they've got a lot of stuff to happen their way, and honestly, if we can take care of business, we know what we're going to do.
So the Cats only trailing 3-0. Could have been a lot worse. Saw them get beat on a trick play. It could have easily been 7-0 in the opening minutes.
And in the very next play, another one that just got dropped that could have been another big one. And then first and goal inside the 10, and you get a holding call that brings you back. This is set up for the 3 points there. It's huge for this Virginia High defense.
It's going to be a tough one tonight. This crowd getting into it, and the later this game gets, the more involved they're going to be. So we'll see if the Cats. And one more thing we want to know: what a good crowd traveled from Bristol up the road.
Gosh,
hopefully, a lot. We have close to 200 and some listening right now on the radio. The last time we checked, so we hope you're enjoying the broadcast. You'll be enjoying it a lot better here if we can break the plane of the end zone early in the second half. The Cats will be kicking it off to open after they receive the opening kickoff of the ball game. They'll kick it off deep to open the second half of football. Is see what we can do. It's kickoff brought to you by